You want to be a songwriter. Maybe you haven't written any songs before, or maybe you're an amazing writer and you ended up here by accident. My name's Ben. I'll be going over some basic songwriting things. Just so you know, I am reading off my phone because I'm not very smart. I'm going to be going over some of the basics of songwriting, things that I use, things that have helped me. Although this is more tailored for beginner songwriters, a lot of the things I'm going to say, they still apply to everyone. But usually once you've been songwriting for a while, these things will become much more intuitive, and then you won't have to necessarily watch videos like these, but I'm glad you're here anyway. There are no rules that need to be followed when writing music, but they're kind of like tips and guidelines that I think should help you. So the first thing I want to talk about is chords and coming up with a chord progression. You can look up the circle of fifths if that helps you. I'll put it on screen here. That could be a nice way of seeing what chords would work with each other if you're not too geared into music theory. I think, oh, there's a dog howling. I'm in the park. That's so obvious. I think don't worry about writing anything too complex when you're getting started. If you just stick to like 3 or 4 chords, there are so many amazing songs that have been written on just a few chords. As you get more geared into knowing what chords will work in different instances, you can start peppering in more things, but to begin with, just pick a few chords. You need to choose what key you want your song to be in. It may be easier to pick a key that is played on that instrument more easy. Obviously if it's like piano, you can play it any key relatively easy, but if you're on guitar or something like that, unless you're going to use a capo, just stick to open chords would be a recommendation. I'd probably stick to writing songs mostly in the major key to begin with. It's probably just a bit easier than writing songs in minor, I would personally say. So the next thing I want to talk about is writing a melody. Writing a melody sounds really difficult, but if you think a bit more as just like humming, or finding a tune that will fit over your chord progression. So what I do is I usually have what chords playing, I'll strum away at the chord progression, and I'll just hum over the top. I'll just say nonsense words, say whatever comes to my mind, maybe like little lyrical phrases that sound quite poetic that could be in a song. Just say those things and just see if it works. Try and sing them. I think that's the main thing you need to remember, is your song has to be sung. That moves me on to structure. So you're probably all aware of like the basic pop structure. Verse, pre-chorus, chorus, second verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus. Maybe a final chorus as well. That's where a key change should be. If your song doesn't have a key change in, then it's not good. Fact. So there's nothing wrong with just sticking to that template when you write a song. Obviously loads of great songs have been written that way, but what I tend to do is like automatically plug my songs into that structure. Half the time it just simply won't work because most songs don't need that structure to sound the best way that they could sound. If it helps, write something in that structure, but then don't be afraid to deviate from it and take it in new directions. For example, you could start with the chorus, or you could have no pre-choruses in your song, or you could have lots of verses, for example. Those are all things that I've done before. They sound a bit kind of crazy, but then when you hear them in terms of that specific song, you'll know if it'll work or not. I think as long as you actually just start writing your songs, you'll find that the song will unfold in a way that you didn't think it would before. I think for me personally, that is the most fun part of songwriting. That's where the magic is, where you have parts of the song and you're piecing it together and you just think, that should go there, this should go there, oh, I could do this. That is genuinely the most fun I ever have creatively. The last big thing I want to talk about today is lyrics, which is like my personal favourite part of songwriting, but it's also quite tricky. Unless I have an exact story or an exact topic that I want the song to be about, I'll usually go into it just thinking about one idea or like one emotion that my song could be based around, and then slowly build the lyrics around that. I sometimes list out phrases or like little poems or just like words that I really like the sound of, or ones that kind of fit nicely into a narrative that I'm going to try and form with the lyrics. I think once you have your chord progression down and you've got a rhythm to your music, the amount of lyrics that you'll put in your song will be massively dictated by that. Like sometimes I'll write a 3-minute song with like this many words, and then sometimes I'll write a couple of pages of lyrics in a song, and the song is like the same runtime, but it does just massively depend on the rhythm, the speed, and what style of song you're going for. The main point of why people struggle with lyrics is that often they don't sound like they're meant to be sung. People say that songs are just poems with music, but they really are different often in the way they're formed. You might find when you try and put your poem to music, it just doesn't sound right, and that's probably because it was written as a poem foremost, and then when you try and sing it, the way the words break apart and the syllables and the sounds, it just doesn't work as a song. It can be done, but it's much easier to like write the lyrics and the music together as one thing, and that way at least you know that however good or bad your lyrics are, they will still sound like they have a place in a song. And that's why you get songs with crazy lyrics and things that don't really make any sense. And sometimes you don't even question the lyrics because you're so into the song and the sound of the piece that it really doesn't matter. So those are some songwriting tips, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm a new channel. I'm trying to get into this space to help people improve as songwriters because it's just an absolute passion of mine, and it means in the future there'll be more music for us all to enjoy. I'm not a professional writer. I'm open to any suggestions, so please put any tips you would recommend in the comments below. I just want to help share what I found to help me write music onto you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
I could pick up the pieces of my heart